Hi everyone! In this lecture, we'll start building the chat functionality using a library called JSQMessagesViewController. To install it, as usual, we'll let pod know we want this package by writing pod JSQMessagesViewController in the pod file. You can use terminal to install the packages, and you can also use the CocoaPods app instead. It's kind of an app with a button triggering the pod install command. So go ahead and download the app. Then this app, open the pod file. Here it is. Now, simply hit the install button to install the packages listed in this pod file. Okay, here's Xcode and the CocoaPods app. The app is installing the packages we specified in the pod file. Okay, it finished. The new package will be installed here, in the Frameworks folder. Alright, we have everything we need for now. Let's start building. First, we'll need to import JSQMessagesViewController to the ChatViewController to utilize stuff from this library. We then let ChatViewController be a subclass of the JSQMessages class, so that the ChatViewController can use its methods and properties. Okay, let's command-click this class to see what it is. Alright, it adopts something. Collection view, data source, and UI text view delegate protocols. So we can imagine it kind of uses a text view for inputting messages and collection view to display them. It has important properties like sender ID, sender display name, and methods we'll work with. Alright, now let's go back to the ChatViewController and run the project to see what we need to do. Actually, to save time, let's make the navigation view controller the initial view controller. Alright, so that we don't have to sign in each time we test the chat feature. Okay, good. Now run the project. I don't think it'll work. Actually, because the navigation view controller is now the initial view, we, as a user, will enter the chat view right after the app launches. But the chat group doesn't know who we are, so it would, complain. Yeah, right. The app crashes. Let's see. The error says that the chat view needs the sender ID, which is ours, so that it can identify us. All right, this is easy to fix. Remember the sender ID property and things like that in the JSQMessages class? All right, it has properties we need, like sender ID and sender display name. And actually, it's explicitly said here that sender ID is required, and so is the sender display name. We overlooked that before, but we'll fix it now. In the chat view controller, right after users open the view to chat, set the sender IDs to, alright, we'll just put something down for now, and then set their sender display name to also something for now. Then test the app. Later, when we use Firebase server to manage the data, we'll come back and set these things properly. Alright, cool. It works. Here's our beautiful chat view. Alright, let's try to send something. Alright, let's just put in something to test this feature and send. Okay, it doesn't work. Let's see what's wrong here. Alright, we need the didPressSend button method to access the text user's input and stuff, but we haven't implemented this function. So let's go back to the chat view controller and do it. Okay. Did press send button. You can command click this function to see its description. We're not going to do it here though. We'll implement this function shortly. For now, let's just see if it fixes the error. Alright, okay, let's print a message. Did press send button. Good, now let's see. Actually, at this point, the chat view controller is able to receive the text users put in, but it doesn't know how to present the text to the UI. Okay, now let's put in some text then, and send. Alright, good. The send button is functioning. Alright, now let's print the text we put in. We can use the string interpolation to print. This is the text user's input and will be sent as a message. Alright, there's an error. Okay, wrong string interpolation format. This is easy to fix. Alright, cool, let's check it out. To send and display the text, JSQMessages defines a sort of message class. We then need to encode the text into a message instance to send and present to the UI. And we'll do that shortly. Now, test and send. Alright, good. It's printed to the console, so we're good. Alright, now move on to the attach button. It isn't working now. As with the send button, we'll need to implement a kind of did press method for this button, as the error message indicates here in the console. Alright, similar to the send button, JSQ messages have a method for that purpose. It's did press accessory button method. For now, let's just print something. We'll implement this method later. Alright, so print did press accessory button, then run the app. Alright, in the next few lectures, we'll make this button allow users to pick photos and videos from the app library. Alright, let's check it out. Let's see, click the attach button. Alright, great, it's working. The system knows the button was pressed, and we'll come back to that later. Alright. As we mentioned, we need to encode the inputs into message objects. So, let's define a message array containing all messages in the chat group. Alright? Each of its elements will be a JSQ message instance. The JSQMessagesViewController package uses this class to model a single user message. We'll need to encode input data and sender information into these message instances. Command click this class. We'll see its properties use it to hold this information, like sender ID and display name properties to hold sender information, and text and media properties to hold input data. To create messages, we use its initializers with text inputs for text messages, or with media inputs for sending photos and videos. For now though, we need the text message initializer. Alright, we've just created a message array to hold all sent messages. The messages are JSQ messages objects. So, in the did press send button method, we'll append the new message to this array. We use the JSQ message text initializer to create this new message. The message is used to encode the sender ID. The sender ID is an input of did press send button, which is of the user sending the message. We also want the message to encode the user display name. And finally, we encode the text the user put in the text view. Okay. Now, remember that we already got this text and printed it to the console before. For completeness, before testing the app, we'll also print the sender ID. Sender ID, and we also print the sender display name. Okay, now, let's build the app. We haven't been able to display messages to the UI. We'll do that in the next lecture. Now, let's just see what the messages consist of. Alright, let's send a message. Let's see. This is the test, and send. Alright, it's working. We're able to print the text, sender ID, and sender display name. Cool. Now let's see how the messages are going to look like. Print messages. Alright, good. Now let's see. For now, when the app launches, this message array will be empty. Alright, here's the app. Let's send a text message. Let's see. Test message, and send. Great. In the console is the JSQ message array we printed. It has only one message we just sent. If we send another message, it'll be appended to the message array, and all messages will be printed to the console. Alright? Okay, good. We can encode data into messages now, but we still need to present them to the users. Alright, so next time we'll utilize the bubble class of the JSQ messages library to display messages to the UI. Alright, see you then.